Guys, welcome to Garage. Thanks for joining me. So this is my 2013 Tesla Model S 85. It's rear-wheel drive. I've had this about a year and a half. I bought this in December of 23. I bought it with about 157,000 miles on it. I bought it from a dealer. It was actually a dealer in California that bought it at an auction. It's a single owner. The first owner owned this in Pennsylvania and put that many miles on it, traded it in. It went from auction to auction. I went through auctions several times. A dealer bought it, and they were just trying to get rid of it. There was kind of like some drive unit issues, bushing issues with it when I bought it. That was kind of why the dealer sold it for, I ended up buying it for $10,500. And at that time, it was kind of the cheapest one that I could find. And I was like, oh, I'll buy it, you know, as kind of a project. Let's see how it goes. It could be a fun car for my son. My son was about to turn 16 to drive around. So in this video, what I want to do, I want to go through just some information on the Model S. If you're looking at one of these older Model S's, 2012 to like say 2016 Model S, there is some differences in those years. This is the old one, 2012, 2013s, and then half of 2014 were just the rear-wheel drive versions. A lot of those didn't also have. This one doesn't have like autopilot, just regular cruise control. So it's kind of like basic controls. It doesn't have any of the autopilot features. It's just got the rear drive unit for the motor, rear-wheel drive. I've kept track of every penny that I've spent on this car. And I want to just show you, if you're looking at buying one of these older Model S's, what you can kind of expect when it comes to repair costs, maintenance costs, what you can expect to pay. I've done basically all of the work. I've had to do a lot of work on the brakes, the suspension. I had the motor replaced, and so we're going to go through just kind of like all of the expenses I've had on this and show you how much I've spent on it, how much it's worth, and kind of give you a tour of the car. I put these wheels on this. It came with the 19-inch, just silver wheels. These are the black 21-inch turbines. They look really good, and I've only have about 3,000 or 4,000 miles on them, but these are Arroyo Grand Sport AS tires, 265, 35, 21 in the back, 245, 35 in the front. Have held up great. I had these also on my other Model S, and probably have 10,000 miles total on them, and they probably got like 70%, 75% tread left. So they're doing fantastic. The car, cosmetically, it's in okay shape. The paint's not great. Let me give you an example here on the rear deck. I don't know if this is going to show up on camera or not. See how there's kind of some speckling in the clear coat? Like from the rear quarter up on the rear trunk lid here. It's got this kind of speckling in the clear coat. I'm not sure what that is. I don't know if that can be like sanded out, re-cleared. But that's kind of like the paint-wise. It also the back bumper was like tape. There's kind of still a tape mark on here, some adhesive. The rear bumper wasn't like that well secured on there. And the rear parking sensors, they were cut, like the cords were cut to those rear parking sensors, so those don't work. So I always get a rear parking sensor warning on those. So paint's not in like super great condition. There's some scratches and kind of dings and dents along here. When I got this, it also had a PPF, a paint protection film on the front hood that I ended up taking off, and then underneath the hood is actually in really good shape paint-wise there. I did do a blackout kit. You can kind of see how there's normally these older Model S's come with chrome, like chrome on that blinker there, chrome around the mirrors, chrome around the door. That's all chrome. Door handles are chrome. You can get this black vinyl wrap kit for, you can get them for like $200, $250 and just do it yourself and just wrap these pieces. And with this thing all blacked out with the black wheels, I also tinted the windows. It actually looks pretty good. The Model S is a good-looking car, and that's kind of a big attraction of these cars. They're good-looking cars. They're very spacious, and they're also very cheap right now, and that's a big attraction too. Let me show you one thing with these older Model S's, 2012 to 2014. Look in the front here. You can actually fit a full-size spare in the front here. It's got huge room because it's not a dual motor. That's open. And then in like 2014, 2015, they changed the 12-volt battery location from there to there, and then so the newer ones don't have that space there. So you have a ton of room in the front trunk in these cars. Let me show you the rear trunk. It has the power liftgate. Some of them aren't powered. Some are manually lifted up here, but you have this. These seats fold down here. You've got sub-trunk storage there. You've got storage on the side there. So you got a lot of good storage in this car. It can comfortably fit 5 adults, 3 across here, 2 in the front. It's got this power trunk that comes down. Now, one thing that's interesting in this is, because this is kind of an early car, and this is the case with most of the Model S's, probably even pre-Raven, which is like 2018 and older cars, it has this glass sunroof here that will come back. I don't open it very often because they do have a tendency to get stuck and break down, and they're expensive to repair, so I just never touch the sunroof. So it can vent up, it can come all the way back. And then it has a glass roof in the rear passenger area, so it has this nice rear glass that will kind of give some extra headroom. But we've got what we have in the back seat here for rear passengers, we have a couple little vents here, which is nice. There's no charging. You see there's no charging outlets at all. There's only one 12-volt socket there, and there's two USB-A's in the front. So there's really no charging for rear passengers, and pretty basic here. The seats are a little upright. I think they're comfortable. I mean, I can sit back here with enough leg room. It's fine, you know, like it's pretty comfortable here. And you don't have a transmission tunnel here, so it's got all flat floor here in the rear as well. So you got 3 full seat belts. Let's move to the front. Okay, in the front here, I don't know if these controls look familiar to you at all, but these early Model S's use Mercedes components. So the door switches, these controls are all from Mercedes. All of these, see, because this is a early Model S, it just has regular cruise control. So if you recognize this from the older Mercedes of this era, that's the cruise control. So up is to set it, or pull back is reset. It's kind of complicated. I don't like that. Blinker with your windshield wiper controls, and then down here you have an electric moving steering wheel. You can move it in and out like there. And then this might look familiar too. This is from a Mercedes. Drive, neutral, reverse, all from the stock here. Push in, park. So this is the same with most Teslas that have the drive stocks, but this is just the old school Mercedes style that you have here. You got your basic controls here: volume, track, and then kind of your Bluetooth controls. Gauge screen. A lot of these great gauge screens on the older Model S's will like be leaking. The adhesive will kind of melt. It has the MCU2, which is an upgraded media control unit, so it's got a new screen and gauge cluster, and it's done away with any of that like leakage that you get. This had it really bad, like it'd be leaking around the screen, so just be aware of that. It's about a $1,500 upgrade to be able to get the MCU2 upgraded in here, but it does give you some of the theater options here, much faster response. You've got the Tesla Theater, you've got more of the arcade games streaming, so it does give you some upgraded stuff. You're going to get more updates. It's definitely worth, if you're buying an older Tesla Model S, or even in the Model X's older ones, it's worth it to upgrade to the MCU2. You just do it through the Tesla Service Center. It's about $1,500. And then these older ones have this, I don't even know what they call this, but there's no center console here. It's just open area. This is an aftermarket little tray, but this is just open normally. So it is a comfortable car to ride in. It's spacious. It has lots of storage room. It's nice and comfortable to drive. And I really like driving this car. These cars have just depreciated quite a bit. So you can find a 2012, 2013, 2014 right now for under $15,000. And right now, before September 30th, 2025, it could be eligible for the used tax credit, where you get another $4,000 off of it. Deal has to be run through a dealer. So that's going away, so it would be something to look at. But I want to show you guys some of the costs and just kind of go through these costs that I've incurred while owning this car. We'll go through everything that I've had to pay over the last year and a half. All right, I've just kind of kept a notes page on my phone. Let's go through everything here. So the vehicle price, $10,500. I bought it from a dealer. I did have to pay for shipping because it was in California. I'm in Utah. I shipped it here for $722. I did a full brake job on this thing. So the brake pads and the rotors, $285.90. I did that myself. I tinted the windows. I bought the kit myself and tinted it myself, $38.59. Wiper blades, they were shot. I had to replace those. Caliper decals. I did the Tesla caliper decals on those. I painted the calipers black with caliper paint. That was $75. And then I replaced the front wheel hub assembly, $95. That was for both front. And then the rear ones were $105. CV axles, I have those. I still haven't replaced those. $214. The toe links, also, I haven't replaced those in the rear yet. So those two things I bought those, but I haven't replaced them yet. Brake caliper hardware. This was like the pins, clips for the pads. I had to buy a new parking brake for one of the sides because I just couldn't get it apart. I bought the screen, so like the new screen here, I bought that. I found one on eBay, and I bought them, and this is because they were like leaking the adhesive, and it was programmed to another car, and I really couldn't use those. So actually I still have those, and I need to either resell them or do something with those. Tesla Service Center diagnostic. To diagnose the clunking sound when I first got the car, I had to pay $121.22. I then took it to this place, Garen's Automotive. I took it there for them to replace the bushings that had worn out in the motor, and I ended up canceling the order. They ordered the bushings, and they charged me a restocking fee, and it was kind of a mess. But I bought the undershield. The undershield in the rear was missing. I bought that. I had the service center put that on when they did the motor. Just some hardware I had to buy. New drive unit at the Tesla Service Center. So because of the clunking and there's a milling sound in the motor, it needed to be replaced. And they also had to replace the cables, like the high voltage cables going from the battery to the motor. So this is a little bit more than it normally is. So $7,900 for that. This was all the front suspensions things I just replaced recently on this. These are the DMV fees, the sales tax, registration, title fee. When I registered and titled the car in my name, I had to pay that. I had to replace the windshield wiper arm. I broke one trying to replace the windshield wiper blade, so I had to buy a used one. The rear hatch struts, one of them's kind of falling off. I have those. I haven't replaced those yet. One's still working, but I'll need to replace those sometime. And then I just paid for an alignment. That brings the grand total of what I spent on this car, $23,364.70. Now, so that was a grand total for everything I spent on this car. So a car that originally cost me $10,500, now I'm into it $23,000. And the car is not worth any. The car is probably worth $12,000 to $14,000 on the resale market. It might be worth a little bit more because there's a tax credit that could be claimed on it. 15 grand maybe at most. So it doesn't make sense for me to really sell it for 15 grand and then lose $8,000. So I'm probably just going to end up keeping this and just letting my kids drive it because I'm kind of stuck in it as far as the cost goes. So maybe that gives you an idea cost-wise. Now that doesn't include labor in a lot of things. Like when I did all the brakes, the suspension stuff, the struts, I bought the parts and did that myself. So that's doing things myself and not paying shop labor fees to do that. You can save some money that way, but if you're paying a shop labor to replace a lot of these suspension components, which that's common for things to go out on this car, you're going to see some expenses. So even though it's a cheap car overall, like to buy right now, it's still going to be somewhat expensive, especially if you have to replace the rear drive unit, the motor in the back. Those will all fail if you don't have the coolant delete version, which mine does. That's the latest version. That brings a little value to the car that it has like the most recent updated version U part number drive unit on the car. So that does bring the value a little higher. But if you have an older one that doesn't have that done to it yet, you need to get the coolant delete done because the motor will fail. The seal fails and the coolant leaks into the inverter, and it's kind of a mess then. This one, the motor should be like, it could last hundreds of thousands of miles. So the only thing I have to worry about now is really the main battery, high voltage battery pack. And if I got to replace that, I could be into it, $12,000 to $18,000, which would be a lot to put into this car and be into it, high 30s when it comes to, or $40,000 for a car like this. But so guys, the point of this is not to scare you away from these cars, at least to be realistic when it comes to repairs, things you have to do, things you have to keep up on these older cars. This has 163,000 miles on it. It doesn't need a whole lot right now. I think I got pretty much everything sorted. I still need to do some rear suspension work, like the rear shocks, control arms. There's a few, like just the bushings wear out. 165,000 miles, the bushings just wear out. This is a heavy car. It's got a lot of torque, and it just wears out the bushings. So that could be another $500 for parts for me to do kind of those rear suspension things. Just like with all high, like this isn't like a luxury car, but it's like this was close to $100,000 car new, and when you're buying these that are 10, 12, 13 years old, the cost to keep them going can be high. Now, had I not had to replace the rear motor, I would have been into this only $8,000 less, right? Basically $15,000, which is what it's about worth. So buying a new motor or a battery in these cars is really going to put you upside down in the value of these cars, because really you're not going to get the value out of those. This did come with free supercharging, so a lot of these older ones, that would be the real attraction to buy these cars, is it comes with free supercharging for the life of the car. I ended up transferring that. Tesla did a promotion last year. If you buy a new car, you could transfer it. I transferred to that Model Y right there. So this no longer has free supercharging on it. These cars are going to be more rare to have free supercharging on them, because if Tesla does another promotion where you can transfer it, less and less of these are going to have the free supercharging on it. They do charge a lot slower than the newer cars. So it's not that valuable to have one of these cars with free supercharging on it, because it just takes so long. You're going to be sitting in a supercharger for 45 minutes. Whereas this Model Y charge in half the, just probably more range in 15, 20 minutes, because it can charge at 250 kilowatts. These can only charge at 78 kilowatts maximum. So it's a big difference. 250 kilowatts versus 78 kilowatts. So I think these are these are cool cars. I really like the look of them. I like the space. Even though this is a 12-year-old car, it does have a really good look to it. I like the look of these cars, especially the way I have it with the black wheels, the blacked out trim. This nose cone here, this bubble on the front, they did that from 2012 to 2016. End of 2016, they started doing they did a facelift on these, where it was the same from 2016 to 2020, and then they refreshed the car in 2021 with the plaid and the long range. So this is kind of a basic car. It doesn't have a lot of the autonomous features, no full self-driving, no autopilot, no cameras at all on it. The only camera it has is in the rear backup camera. So for the time being, I did say I wanted to try selling this car, but I just don't. I'm not going to take $8,000 loss on this thing. So it'd be cool to kind of just keep it and just see how long it lasts, how long the high voltage battery is going to last. And if I can get 5 years out of it, that'd be awesome, And maybe then there's cheaper options to replace the battery or repair it. So anyway, guys, hopefully that gives you an idea cost-wise, maybe things you're going to have to replace if you buy some of these older cars. Maybe that's going to turn you off from buying one, Maybe you just look at a Model 3. You can buy a Model 3 or Model Y for under around $23,000 right now instead of this, and you have more features, and they're probably a little more reliable. Door handles, these are electric, they pop out. The window regulators that move the windows up and down, those all fail on this car. I don't know why. I don't know what. There's a design flaw in these. So those are going to be probably $300 per door handle if you have Tesla replace them as they go out. Probably same with the window regulators. Once you get those things kind of sorted out, as well as with the suspension and braking, pretty reliable car otherwise. So guys, well, thanks for watching the video. Hopefully that's helpful information. Hopefully that gives you an idea. I really like this car. Plan on seeing this on the channel more, as we'll do more videos, kind of more updates, more driving videos, things like that. But this is probably going to stay in the garage for a while, just because I'm upside down so much in this car. But guys, appreciate watching the video. Leave your comments down below. If you have questions, feel free to ask them. I'll try to answer them, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks.